or nuns or practitioners. The Buddha have taught us. One person live for 100 years. He or she doesn't recognize the Dharma, which is has to go through and birth and death. It's not equal to the person who just live for one day, but they realize that our life has to go through birth and death. We see the afflictions, we see the impermanence, the old age and death. So this is in general, we understand all this has to go to all the Dharma has to go to the impermanence. So we have this practice, ask a question, giving rise to the doubt. But now we're not be diligent in the practice yet. We're not entering the door yet. We still have all kind of false thoughts coming in. Like we live in the assembly, but we be able to cultivate. But when we leave the assembly, we interact with all kind of condition. Then it's keep distracting us from our practice. We'll be struggling with the practice. So we always try to we need to believe in our own mind, and we need to practice. And we don't differentiate status. If we have the practice, then we will strengthen the belief in our own mind. So that's the proper cause for the practice. So the more we practice, the more we believe in our own mind, and the more we have a clear understanding from the Buddhist teaching, from the good no advisors, from the patriarchs. And then we will cherish the teaching when we understand them clearly. Like Zen Master Quy Sơn, he said, like a person, an individual walk in the reason realm, but like walking in the fog, and for a long time we get wet. So the practice is similar. In this life, we plant the seed, and even we just live for a day or two, and then we reincarnate into a different body, and then we listen to the proper Dharma. We'll be able to open our mind, and we'll be able to practice and get on the right path to the enlightenment state. So that's why the Buddha and patriarchs, good no advisors, keep reminding us. But we're more likely to go after all kind of fame and profit and appearance. But our practice is very simple. We just ask a question, give rise to a doubt. With or without doubt, we still have to ask a question. It's just like we practice for a long time, then we'll have the flavor of the meditation. Or just like we live in a place for a long time, we will create good, we will have the affinity with the place. So now, anyone who has any question, you can bring it up. Namo Sakamuni Buddha. We invite Anh Hưng to speak. Namo Sakamuni Buddha. Dear Master and everyone. So from your explanation, from your encouragement, so I recognize, I noticed that in my mind right now, it still have this consciousness, have this knowledge. Before the meditation, before this practice, I have some of the like some of the thought of gaining, thought of attaining. So when you mention about the practice, and if we be able to go back to the practice, maintain the practice, then I feel like my mind is calm and at peace. And this calm or peaceful, we feel joyful about it. So when we listen to your explanation, you have mentioned that we should not dwell on it, not attach to it. So we just try to maintain the practice and just still try to ask a question and give rise to a doubt. So even though the peace, the calmness, will come and goes, and it never stay with us permanently. So during the practice, we'll be able to recognize this and that. And when you mention about the four marks, marks of self, mark of others, marks of living beings, and mark of lifespan. So when we practice the meditation, when we actually recognize these four marks. So on this knowledge, we'll be able to recognize the difference between the mindfulness and the mindfulness of a Zen practitioner. So on the other people, the meaning of their mindfulness is like whatever they do, they have to know what they are doing. So they just focus on this knowing. So for these methods, the mindfulness is we use this we use this question to give rise to the doubt, and when we give rise to the doubt, and the doubt lead us to the not knowing. So when we not know, when we get into the not knowing, then we get is with the state of not knowing. So there's no place. So even though we pay attention to it, so there's no object to it. But the others, when they use the knowing mind and use the mindfulness on the way, they like for example, when they sweep the room, sweep the floor, they know they sweeping the floor, and actually they have the object. But for Zen practice, there's no object, and no object for us to pay attention to. I remember Master Whaley's teaching the the Zen practitioners, when they're not diligent, just like our palm, when we open it, there's gap in between the fingers. So when we practice, so it's just like if we keep the practice going, then our palm will slowly close all the gaps. So during our practice, we'll be able to recognize all kind of we recognize. Is this the recognize a lot of things? Is this has to do with the state of demonic state? So can you explain this a little bit further so I can overcome these states? Oh, this is false mind, false thoughts. So false and true is actually true false. Because we differentiate, because we attach to. That is sickness. We forget the function of our eyes, of our ears. So it's just like a mirror to reflect, for us to reflect. And the mirror itself, it doesn't contain the image. It doesn't keep the image. There's a verse saying the bird like a flock flying across the sky, and its image, we see the image in the water, and the sky, the space doesn't keep its image, or the water doesn't keep its image. But for us, we keep differentiate things all the time. We always, because we have the subject and object. That's why this is considered false thoughts. So on our practice, we need to get to the state of awakening. So all these false thoughts will be eradicated, automatically eradicate. Just like when we are waiting for a dream, all the things that we see in our dream, it just disappear. Because we still have attached to, that's why we have a thought of, that's why this is the obstacles. Due to these thoughts of differentiation and attachment, that's why it keep creating obstacles for ourselves. And we lose the practice, not maintaining the doubt. So all the Buddha's teaching, patriarch's teaching, is just like a fingers pointing to the moon to strengthen our mind, strengthen our belief. Don't let the self-attachment to distract us. So when we rely on the Buddhist teaching, we understand this. And we have the practice, and the practice will lead us to the awakening state. Before we practice, because we have all kinds of differentiation thoughts coming in, like thoughts of sadness, thoughts of joyful, thoughts of happiness, or all kinds of thoughts coming in. But now we practice, we maintain the practice, so all these thoughts will become less and less. But we still have this differentiation, and it's still self-attachment. This is still false thoughts, false mind. It's not really true. So this is more likely to strengthen the belief in our own mind, because we maintain the practice, and we have more wholesome thoughts coming in, less evil thoughts coming in, because of our practice. But when we get to the state of enlightenment, then we will have the function of the self nature. So if we give rise to the thought of differentiation without attachment, then without the attachment, then we don't have affliction. We don't have the deviant thoughts coming in. So expedient, skillful means direct or indirect. It's still expedience. But if we don't know how to use the experience, the skillful means we more likely to stuck with the self-attachment and we still stay with the ignorance. In the Flower Adornment Sutra, the Buddha has taught very broad, a lot. So there's a lot of teaching. So our practice, we need to get to the state of enlightenment, not to differentiate, not the knowledge, not the understanding. So if we are the wisdom with the experience, we use the experience wisely, then it leads us to the our self nature. There's a person who has a question about the Buddha land. Buddha land is numerous, so it's just this is just self nature. So it's just like a dust, or just like all go return to the one. One has the all has the one, and this is just a self nature. So, like in the Brahmet Sutra, mentioned about has mentioned about Sakyamuni Buddha. There's infinite numbers of Sakyamuni Buddhas. One has the all. So we need to understand the intention of the Buddha and forget the spoken language, or need to let go of the text, the written text. So analogy like in a room, there are many candles or lights. The light itself, even though there's many candles or many lamps, there's only one light, one. So the analogy talking about the brightness, the light shining, only one. Only one. So emptiness, the empty space, is similar to the self nature analogy. But we keep differentiate. We keep going after the appearance, the forms, and look the appearance of the form to distract us. So because we attach to the form and appearance, that's why the Buddha used this experience to break the attachment or attachment. So in our practice, if we maintain the practice, and the more we do, the more uh, we'll be able to understand clearly. So if we can maintain the practice, it doesn't matter what situation, what circumstances we encounter, will not be moved by them. And we just keep going until we get to the state of awakening. So this will help us to believe in our own mind, strengthening the belief in our own mind. So if we be able to strengthen the belief in our own mind, we more likely to maintain the practice as well. So the Buddha's mind or the patriarch's mind, their intention, uh, it, they actually really want us to practice to get there, not the understanding, the knowledge itself. So did you understand what I tried to explain? Can you repeat the verse about the birds? It's just like the birds flying across the sky, or the it doesn't has the image on the water, uh, but the water will not keep that image, or the space doesn't keep that image of the flocks or of the birds. Well, we invite Kim Yin to speak. Namo Sakamani Buddha, dear all monks or nuns, and the rest of the assembly. I have one question to request. This person has asked, before our parents were born, what is my original face look like? This individual, practitioner want to modify this question. Can she modify before my parents were born? Who am I? So can she do this? In reality, the original face, if we have a wandering thought, a strong wandering thoughts, this question is easily to make us think. This question is not easy to practice because it will uh, come out in. We can think of many ways, many solutions that come out from this question. So depend on the koan from the patriarchs. Example like Mato patriarchs and Hoài Nhường. Analogy like the wagon with the cow carrying the wagon. If we want to the wagon to move. Do we hit the cow or we hit the wagon? So our practice needs to go back to the base, to the basic. And if we create a question, so like the question, who am I? And then we keep searching. We keep thinking about who we are. So our practice just try to mentor doubt. The other, we're more likely to have something to think about. So it's more likely uh, to to create an object. So the practice, when we're talking about the self nature, talking about our original face, we investigating. We need to investigating the hautou. If we need to understand the, the Buddha's and the patriarch's intention. We just have to practice. This is not easy to. Just Master Likwa said, when we practice, we don't allow the brain to think, and we don't try to come up with any solution. When we're talking about not try to find a solution, try to think, then it's more like it's contradicting. It seems like we need to have the practice, so to have the experience, so that we can can have a flavor or have can understand a sense of it. If not, then we more likely to fall into the duality, to the subject and object. It's, so the pages keep reminding us, investigating Zen or the practice. Try to stay away from the. It's not our practice. Is not like reciting the Buddha's name. Not like reciting the mantra. So if we don't practice, if we practice incorrectly, we more likely we stay at the wood tail, not wood head. So like many people, uh, they keep thinking about trying to, they try to, from the Buddhist teaching, it has no beginningless, no beginning. It's beginningless, no beginning, no end. But the scientists or other people, they try to find the beginning of everything. So for the Buddha's teaching, when we practice, we have to get to state of non-birth. So for the Buddhists, we are more likely to if we don't practice, we will not be able to understand this. So the patriarchs has stated that scientists they are ignorant because there's no beginning. How come they keep doing it? Try to find the beginning of everything. So the hautou, the state of hautou, has no not dwelling anywhere, no attachments. But when we practice, we don't practice correctly. We're more likely to dwelling on the doubt, and that's not the way. Without the patriarchs, without the good advisors, we more likely to practice incorrectly. We need to open our mind. We need to be. Our mind has to be stay on the no attachments. But for us, we most likely we clinch to the knowledge, the knowledge and view. So if we want to get to the state of not dwelling anywhere, we have to maintain the practice. This way, we'll be able to enter the Buddha mind. And then this is go back to the self nature, and this is the correct principle of the meditation. I have another question. I will ask this question tomorrow because time is running out. Namo Sakamani Buddha.